So afternoon guys, up on Magic, been sat up here probably about an hour now, had a little sleep. Really hot Sunday, bank holiday Sunday, and to be fair it was more about just coming up and doing some fitness, so I'm going to give it a go to try and see if I can get a lucky thermal, but I'm not expecting it. I think it's just too stable. Saying that, there's a bird now starting to thermal on the edge. So we'll see what happens. If not, I'm going to try and get down into the sports centre in Crickowell, where my car's parked, rather than having to walk quite a distance like yesterday. Hopefully see you in the air, guys. So really light winds, good run off, and then instantly I want to go to right, because there is a little, and I say little, cliff face just on the end of this spur. It's where I'd seen the birds before. Doesn't look that close, that sort of shale or those rocks below me, but there was a time where I actually thought potentially I was going to land on it. So very wary, and again I'm looking out to where I'm trying to land Crickowell and actually wondering whether I've got the glide ratio to make it across the trees. And you can see the trees as I do my left turn now. There's trees between me and Crickowell, so that was sort of like slightly concerning of whether I'd have enough glide ratio and what cables were down in the valley that could cause me problems later. So you can see really from that turn, and more so from the next one, that I'm already below the cliff face height. So that wasn't a good thing, and I knew it wasn't going to be thermic, so I didn't want to be anywhere near the gravel and considering the glide ratio. So what I do now is I look down the hill and I'm looking for sort of like the ridges of where thermals would get traced up, and you'll see in a moment I actually get a little bit of a bleep. So do 2 or 3 360s, just trying to get anything out of it, but I'm always aware that I actually want to have the glide ratio to get across that big lump of trees in front of me. I don't think you can ever pay too much attention or caution to obviously glide ratio, where you're going to land. From my background, I prefer to get there slightly high and have 2 or 3 minutes of looking for the right field, see what's upwind, see if there's any cables, any shadows on the ground, rather than arriving and having 20 seconds to make a decision of going left or right, and that could be the wrong decision. So probably a little bit cautious, but I prefer to be cautious than do that cowboy thing of make it up as it goes along. So again, you can see I'm sort of following this lighter coloured ground, and also that is just a little bit of a lip on top of a ridge. So hoping you can see just where it meets the trees, I'm hoping to get something, and there is actually a building down there as well. So let's see what happens, see if I'm lucky. So on this opportunity I get lucky, and there is just a little bit of a climb again, just slowly dragging itself up the hill. So yeah, again, do a 360, have a feel of it. Didn't really gain a lot from it, so then carry on. And what I'm looking at now is this row of trees directly in front of me. Surely they're trigger points and release points, and again you can see at the end of the trees there is like a farmhouse hangar. And again, that's my next target for the next thermal potential trigger point. So the thermal on this one actually releases after the farmhouse, or actually it could be releasing from the farmhouse and I'm just flying into it as it's pulled its way up the hill. But I definitely believe that that thermal source is that white building, and there's a little bit of a steeper hill just behind that building. And this one releases quite nicely and gets me up to approximately 2,000 feet.
And so I break sometimes when I'm not in bed, just to get it in alone. What's in my head? What's in my
So I'm in one of those rare sort of predicaments now, because realistically I'd already in my mind set myself as just a top to bottom, thinking that I'd walk from Crickhowell up to the top, which took about an hour and 25 minutes. I've got my racing gear, which is about 20 kilos. With water and everything else I would imagine 21, 22 kilos. So that was a bit of an epic, and then I sat on top from 12 o'clock till 2 o'clock, slowly cooking, you know, like a barbecue pig. So by 2 o'clock-ish I'd already accepted, right, it's not going to happen, I'm going to land. And then next thing I get this thermal, and like I say, it takes me to 2,000 feet. So already in this I'm thinking maybe I can make Abergavenny again. However, in the back of my mind it's Sunday, I don't know what the bus timetable is, and also I'm looking for excuses of why not to do it. It's weird, isn't it? So now as a paraglider pilot's mindset, I am definitely going to Abergavenny, even if I have to walk the 12 mile back. I've got the height, so I'm like, yeah, it's on, let's do it. However, you'll see, I actually only get to the other side of Crickhowell and then have another thought process of, you know what, this could probably put me down somewhere in between. It's really hot, I'm tired, and actually I'm looking to get an ice cream somewhere in Crickhowell. So you'll see now what I do is I creep onto the far side of Crickhowell with all intention of doing Abergavenny. I hit some sink, and that seals my mindset to go land in the Crickhowell College. So just fast forwarded this bit. Really all I'm going to do is I go to town, a couple of little thermals. As I mentioned before, I go to the far side of town and then basically just slip back on the opposite side looking for sinking air from the hills on the other side, because that was the wind direction, and then pretty much just start thinking about landing in the school football fields. So you can see the landing area just to the left going out of picture now. So what I'm doing basic here is what I call setup points. I'm just seeing if there is any push from the wind, and then again looking at the vario to see how fast I'm doing, or should I say the ground speed, see how fast I'm doing. And then you'll notice I've just positioned myself, what is, if there is, it's just slightly upwind. And all the time I'm just looking at the trees, see if any of the trees are moving, see if there's a thermal coming through, because I don't really want to land with trees 100 metres in front of me. And just looking to make sure I can see what there is in there. I've already scanned that there's no cables, there's no shadows of poles. What there is though, you can see where the cricket strip is, there's actually 2 tennis nets which are laid up in the middle. So again, I only know that by having a really good look at what I'm seeing. So as well as the tennis nets, there's obviously the rugby posts, but they're quite obvious to see. You can see them now on the right side. And my plan is to follow this tree line down, and you'll notice I've come left of the trees because I had a little bit more height than I wanted. And then the base leg is going to be down in front of these houses. And I think if I turned in now, I probably wouldn't glide to the far side of the football fields. However, I like to do a little bit of a sachet, just in case there is any height or a thermal out there. And I can definitely tell now that regardless of what happens, I'm going to land somewhere near that cricket strip. You can see it's quite lifty, just nice warm air, and at this point it's just a matter of touching down and taking control of the wing. What I will note though is once I've landed and packed up, this is a gated school area. So what I had to do is eventually climb over a fence. So yeah, if you're thinking of landing in there, probably best not to.